What's going on, guys? It's Midget here, bringing you another episode review of The Walking Dead, Season 3, Episode 2, which is called Sick. In this episode, it basically starts off with, we're bringing Herschel back to the cell block where everybody is, and everybody's in terror, and Carol starts operating on Herschel's leg, putting pressure on the wound and the leg so he doesn't bleed out. And Herschel, stays there, and Rick, Daryl, T-Dog go and update the other prisoners like Thomas, which is obviously the leader of the group, Oscar, people like that on the past 10 months of the zombie apocalypse, and finally come onto an agreement with the other group of survivors, that they'll help them clean out the cell block. The other cell block for them if they give them half the food, and Thomas, the leader, says okay. Thomas, I thought he was a bit of a not nice person, I don't want to swear, and it turns out he was. First of all, they go out to clean out the cell block, obviously, and Rick and Daryl tell the other survivors how to do it, like proper the SWAT team, go aim for the head, kill the brain and stuff like that. And there's a couple of zombies come out, and the other survivors just go full rampage on them, like making loads of noise, acting like proper amateurs and stuff. And sorry about that. And Rick and Daryl just don't look too pleased. And then after the initial, killing of the walkers, which the cell block is only half, done by that time, Rick and Daryl go to clear out the last part of the cell block, obviously. And what happens is that Rick tosses the keys to open the last bit of the cell block to Thomas, and he goes, I'm not opening that, and he has a bit of an argument with Rick. However, he eventually opens the door, and Rick told him to open one door. However, he opened two doors and set the full walkers on the group. And the group started, okay, like the survivors were the survivors. And then Thomas tried to hit Rick with a machete, but Rick, he's in top physical form, and also he was wary that Thomas might do that, and he dodged him proper Matrix style, whoa. And Morgan just looked at him, glanced at him really quick, and turned back and started hitting the walkers. And then he got Walker, tossed him on Rick, and Rick fell over with the walker on him, something like Dale in Season 2, Dale's death. However, Rick didn't die, and Daryl was there to help Rick, lifted him up. And once the initial cell block was, clear, Morgan, looked like, pretty scared, startled and stuff, and Rick just told him who's the boss and everything, and he got machete and split his head in half. It was amazing. I enjoyed this episode more than episode 1 because it was full action packed and stuff like that. But I'm telling you, the look on Tom's face as soon as he died, he was because he wasn't expecting that. I saw that he was trying to get his gun out, but Rick obviously better than him. And then there's his friend, I don't know his name, this little guy, he runs away, and Rick just goes, Daryl, T-Dog, wait up, I'll go after him. And then Axel and Oscar. Axel's in the comic book as far as I know, and Oscar not so much. And they stay there in hostage, and Axel, I'm sorry about that, Axel pleads for his life and tells them he had nothing to do with it, and Daryl was gonna kill him, but then he just said no, and he went off to Oscar, and Oscar said, I ain't pleading for my life, and stuff like that. He's not going to plead for his life. So, you know, eventually they didn't kill him, and moving back to Rick, it was pretty funny because Rick chased that guy, the little guy, and the little guy ran on top of the courtyard where there's loads of walkers, and it was like through this little door, and Rick chased up to him, and he saw that there was loads of walkers, and Rick closed the door, and he was like, dude, let me in, man, let me in. And Rick was like, if I was you, I'd start running. And then Rick closes the door on him, and then Rick just stops for a second, like, thinking, and all he hears is like, oh my god, and he's just getting eaten, the other dude. He comes back and moves Axel and Oscar into a cell block with loads of, you know, bodies, and he says they should count themselves lucky. Daryl, you know, gives them some advice, like, as far as I know, I don't know. And T-Dog says he would burn the bodies if he was them. So yeah, and moving on to the other group, Carl brings some supplies for Herschel, you know, since he's got a busted leg, and you know, Laurie, she's not happy with it because she asked where he found them, and he was like, oh yeah, I went into here and killed 2 walkers, and she's like, you what? You know, and everybody hates him at this moment. I can't believe how much everyone hates Carl at this moment in the series, of course. And you know, who's that not little girl, that 17-year-old, I forgot her name, Maggie's sister. She's like, Carl, listen to your mother. She's your mother. And Carl just runs out, you know, angry. And then they help Herschel, of course, and Carol comes up with a sick idea. And you know, in The Walking Dead, it's sane what Glenn says. She was gonna. He comes with Carol to get one walker, and the walker's a woman, and she wants to do a C-section on the walker, she told Glenn, because, you know, Herschel's not going to be doing it when can't do it since he's got no leg. Once Laurie is pregnant, she likes giving birth, so she tries, and she goes, Glenn, leave me, I'll kill this walker. And she gets the walker around the eye area, so, you know, the full brain is intact still. So I was thinking at this moment, what will happen, you know? Will it end like, you know, Carol gets bitten and stuff, and you see the last scene of her, you see her pulling up the, like, skirt of the walker, and she just, you know, starts cutting, and, you know, it ends there, and finally Herschel starts not breathing, and Laurie just runs in and does CPR on him, you know, I forgot, Kiss of Life, I think it is, or whatever, and then she finally manages to wake up Herschel, and Herschel, you know, sort of like wakes up with a reaction. He's like, what the hell are you doing? But it looked like he was a walker for a minute. He grabbed her head like that, and she just, you know, proper backed away, and then Rick came in at that moment, and Herschel grabbed Rick's arm like that, and, you know, Rick just stayed there for a minute, and then he told Maggie and his sister to stay with Herschel, and he got to Laurie and, you know, gave her a good tap on the back because he's been angry with her before, and he just said, good job, and that's how the episode ended, pretty much. I can't think of what else happened, to be honest. If I missed something, I'm sorry. I tried to go in more detail in this episode, and I'll go in more detail tomorrow on another episode. However, this episode, you know, wasn't what? No, this episode was literally the best episode in The Walking Dead by far, you know. It goes, The Walking Dead in this season, it just goes, whew, like, it's so action-packed, and it's only episode 2 if you think about it, you know. It's like, what the hell, episode 1 released so much, you know, Herschel getting bitten, stuff like that, other survivors, moving into the prison, you know, that's already 3 things, and it starts out with a bang, and then episode 2 is just far, far better than that, you know? It's just more action-packed, you know, you see Thomas has his, like, hammer, and, you know, hits his friend, I forgot to mention that, but hits his friend to death, like, it seemed that it was easier to kill his friend in a walker, you know? It was just so emotional and, you know, mind-blowing, gut-wrenching and stuff like that. I can't believe. I have to give this episode another 10 out of 10. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode, guys. If you want me to do more, make sure you like, and I hope I do more in the future, like tomorrow. If not tomorrow, then the day after, but I'm sure gonna do more because this is like my favourite TV show, and this is what this channel is mainly about, of course. So yeah, this was Midget. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.